Guys, how are you? It's Mrs. Martinez again. I am here to teach you your first math lesson via YouTube. So I hope you're listening. I hope you enjoy the lesson. Remember that we talked about the analog clock last week. Remember I introduced you this timing, how to tell time with your analog. And so you guys have one at home. I hope you have it there in front of you. If you don't, please go ahead and get that. And also, we're going to work on the worksheet. So it's the worksheet that has the digital clocks on the front. So please go get that if you need it as well. If you already have it, then I'm glad you're all ready to go. Okay, so make sure that you know we're just going to review this really quick and then we're going to learn another concept, okay? So we're talking about analog and then we're going to talk about digital. All right, here we go. So remember that we talked last week about how you tell time with your analog clock. So you have your tall hand, which is the minute hand, and you have the small hand, the little hand, which is the hour hand. Remember we talked about that every time that this minute hand goes around the clock, it is 60 minutes, right? And as it goes around and it goes all the way back to the 12 where it started from, in this case, it started from the 12, then 60 minutes went by and it goes to the next hour. So, for example, it's 9 o'clock now, and now we're going to count by fives because every time this minute hand gets to a different number, 5 minutes have gone by. So we can actually practice to skip count by fives, and you know how to do that, right? So let's begin, okay? It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So now look, because the minute hand went around the clock for 60 minutes, then now the clock changes, the time changes to 10 o'clock. And if it keeps going around and it goes 60 more minutes, it goes on to 11 o'clock and then 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock and so on. So remember, we talked about that whenever the big hand, the minute hand is on the 12, that means you're going to say o'clock. You're not going to say it is 10:12. No, you're going to say in this case it is 10 o'clock, right? So this is a brief review of what we talked about last week. Today we're going to talk about another way of telling time, which is using the analog time, which is a digital. Remember, you have this clock in our wall in your classroom, so this is digital. So if this would say, 3 o'clock, so pretend that this was a 0 because right now it's 3:01, right? But if this was 3:00, then it would match your clock like this. It would say 3 o'clock would be 3 o'clock, like this. 3 o'clock would match the digital time of 3, and then after the two dots is 00, so it would mean o'clock. So I'm just letting you know that that is one example of how you can see if it's the same time. Because 00 means o'clock for digital, and analog means the big hand is on the 12, the little hand is on the 3. And I took a picture of these different types of clocks that you could see maybe around your home or around stores, and those are also ways of telling time, analog time. You're also going to see digital times on your devices, right? Those are digital. So this is analog, and this is a digital way, all right, of telling time. So now let's take a look over here. So this says 2. Do you see this here on my board? It says 2, and there are 2 dots right here. After the dots on the right side are 00, it's the same as o'clock. All right. So we're going to work on this worksheet quickly, and just to make sure that you do understand, you can review this video, or you can ask mommy and daddy to help you. But we're going to do this together. We're going to practice. All right, So first of all, let's take a look at the problem number 1. It says, write the number. That means that you're going to write the number to match what it says on the digital clock here that's drawn on your picture. So here on this digital time, it says 12. Do you see how that picture is? There's a number 12 right here. It's 12. You see that? So you're going to write a number 12. Can you see how there's already a number there that you could trace? Okay, so go ahead and trace it. We're following number 1 first, and that's what you're going to do. You're going to trace it, and then you're going to trace the 1, and you're going to trace the 2. And now problem number 2 says, what is that right there? A 4. You're right, a 4. So 4 o'clock digital time. Again, 4 ... on the right side, it's 0, 0. It's 4 o'clock. You're going to write a 4 right there. Walk down, walk to the right, and then another tall man. That's a number 4. Okay, there you go. And then number 3, what time does that say, boys and girls? That's right, 10 o'clock, right? Because on the right side of the dots, there are 2 zeros, which means o'clock. So 10 o'clock, and they want you to write a 10. Easy peasy, right? You're writing a tall man and kind of like an oval, so it looks like a 0, okay? The next one is number 4, and then the digital clock there, it says 7. You know that number, so 7 o'clock. And they want you to write a number 7, so you walk to the right and then slant down. Now be careful, this number, some of you, sometimes you write it backwards, and that's very common because the 7 could be written this way instead just by mistake, and it's okay, just erase it and write it. You're walking to the right and then you're slanting to the left. And then you have number 5, and what is that number here? A 1. So it's 1 o'clock. 1, and it says already here, your paper says o'clock already. So you're just writing a number 1. Easy, big tall man, okay? And then number 6, that's an 8. 8 o'clock, boys and girls. Digital time, and 8 o'clock, you're writing it. Now remember, 8, a lot of you do get frustrated because you say, Miss Martinez, it's really hard to write an 8. And I always say, no worries, just write like you're drawing a snowman, a head and a body, right? Now the fun thing about this is that you can use your clock that you have at home to match it when we're done with the video. You can ask mommy and daddy to just kind of make sure that you're getting it right. But if you match the digital times that are on the worksheet to your clock that are here, I'll give you a couple of examples of what you can do. So let's do 2 problems here, and you can do the rest later when you're done with this video. So 12 o'clock would be 12 o'clock here. You go round and round until both of the hands are on the 12, because 12 o'clock looks like this. So it's kind of even hidden. You see the hour hand is hidden behind the minute hand, and that's because they're both pointing to the 12. It's not 12:12, it is 12 o'clock. Okay? And let's do 4 o'clock. Okay, number 2. So then you would go 1 time around, twice, 3 times, and then the 4th time around, it would say 4 o'clock. 4, big hands on the 12, and the little hand is on the 4. 4 o'clock would match this one here. Okay? So there we go on for that side of the paper. And the back of the paper is very easy. You can move along with me or you can do it by yourself, but you're basically just going to match the digital time with the analog time, just like we did earlier in the back, okay? I mean the front, excuse me. So here we go. Look at the times here, analog clocks. They're all the big hands are on the 12, so all of them are going to be 12, are going to be o'clock, okay? So you just need to look at where the hour hand is pointing. So this would be 2 o'clock. So I know you're going to get it quickly. So if you matched it to 2 o'clock, that's great. And this one is, 12 o'clock. Remember, you can't even see the hand. So 12 o'clock would be here. And then 9 o'clock would be the top one, right? Did you get that so far? And then the last one would be, of course, 5 o'clock, which would match the 5 o'clock, the green clock, the analog. So I know you probably got that really quick because, after all, you're very bright students and you love to learn. And since you love to learn, I want to remind you to go on iExcel because I'm sure that the majority of you have already gone in there and played with it. And as you can see, it's very fun and it keeps your mind open and it keeps your just you learning, and that's a good tool. All right, I do miss you though. I wish you were here, and maybe we'll see each other soon. Okay, keep praying for health, and I love you very much. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and if you have any questions, just rewind, replay, or I'll be in touch with you very soon. Okay, bye. Love you.